Hello and welcome to the Wellness Rock Show with your host, Stephanie Deal, where we dive deep into women's hormonal health and how God really designed our bodies to consume proper nutrition. Together we will discover all of the education and knowledge that you need to get your body and your hormones back to where they need to be. As a disclaimer, I am not a doctor and I do not provide medical advice. Please speak to your primary physician before starting or stopping any medication. Hello everybody and welcome back. I'm so happy that you guys are all here today tuning into this Mastering Your Emotions podcast episode, and we have a very special guest with us today. Her name is Jackie Beauchamp. She has been married for almost 28 years. She's an empty nester with 5 children, a son and a daughter-in-law, and 1 grandchild. Most of her education in life has been autodidactic, which means basically that she's just been self-taught her whole life. And she has a passion for learning and firmly believes that life itself brings some of the greatest lessons, which is absolutely beautiful. She has owned her own business for over 10 years. She is a certified as an emotions mentor coach, Christ-Centered Kundalini Yoga Teacher, life coach, and Essential Oil Educator. She is an active wellness advocate with doTERRA and knows that empowered well-being is achievable. She has a passion for helping the others of this world and knows that her impact is magnified in this way as well. Her current focus is working with licensed massage therapists to support them in being better prepared to manage the unique challenges of their industry. So without further ado, I'm going to have Jackie introduce herself a little bit and we're going to jump right into it.
Awesome. So I'm really excited that you asked me to be here. I absolutely love what you're doing and the messaging that you're sending out there, because what I really, like I said, what I believe is that you can empower yourself into a greater state of well-being. And so this is awesome. So yeah, happily married and 5 kids and just have had a lot of life experience. And so I homeschooled all my kids and just was a stay-at-home mom, because when I was growing up, that's really what I wanted to be. I just wanted to be a mom. And so I feel like you are always on as a mom. And so the things that I've learned about myself through my children continue to be something that helps me to evolve as a person. And so getting into and doing the business of doTERRA, so that's where I jumped into most of my really hard lessons in life. I mean, kids are great and they're hard and amazing at the same time, and then you have a marriage which is also hard and amazing at the same time, and starting a business on top of that. I think that there was just a lot of personal development that comes from that, and wanting to be able to serve people, because when you own a business, the most important thing that you can do is to understand who you're serving and to serve them in a way that brings the most value to their own lives. And so in order to do that, I have to be able to be in a space where I can give more. So that personal development piece of the business has been really valuable for me, because it led me to these certifications and to be able to become more myself, so then I have more to give. Right.
No, that's so good. I feel like personal development is one of the most important, if not the most important thing that you can do, because if you're not evolving, the outside world around you is not evolving as well. And then, if you're not evolving, you're not really doing anything with that aspect of life. So I think it's super important in order to grow your relationships and grow your business and be the best mom you can be the best wife you can be, which is why I'm so happy to have you here today, because being 22 years old, I haven't had that much life experience, and to be surrounded by so many women who have had life experience and have children and husbands, it's put me in a position to really see what that's like and be able to grow and evolve into that as well. So I'm really grateful that you're here today.
Some of my favorite relationships when I was in my 20s were people who were older, because I was like, oh, I love learning, and I love learning what you know.
Right.
So I think we do. Anybody that we come in contact with is a genius at something, and so we can learn from each other, and we are open to that.
Yeah. We always like to do 2 icebreaker questions just to get our audience knowing you a little bit before we jump into it. So if you could be any animal, what would you be?
Okay, that's a hard question for me, because the first thing that actually popped into my mind was the Energizer Bunny, and I know that's not a real animal. But I just like being active, and so I just think it's something that it's like I just can keep going and and use the energy. But also recently we were in Florida, and I saw a bird that I had never seen in my life before called a swallowtail kite, and they're only like down south, and they migrate up no further than like Florida, but they're these beautiful, graceful birds, and I just thought, okay, I think that would also be I could be, the 2 aspects of my personality, No,
I love that. And I would have been okay with the Energizer Bunny. I would have taken that. That's hilarious. I was telling somebody previously, like, I never know what I'm going to get with these, and I just love hearing what people have to say, because sometimes it means something really deep, and then sometimes it doesn't, and then I've never gotten that one before, so that one was really awesome to hear too. And I can see you as both of those, very energizing, but also very like free-spirited and gracefully, and so I love that. And then, what is one thing on your bucket list?
Okay, I have always wanted to go and do a family history tour over in Ireland.
Ooh.
I have family, we're very Irish in my side of the family, and I still have family over there, and so I would love to go there and learn more about my family history.
That's awesome. You should definitely do that. I feel like that's so cool, like that you still have so much family over there that you can go see, and just kind of with you being self-taught and wanting to learn all of that, I feel like that would be really cool for you as well. Do you have like a plan of when you want to do that, or?
No, not exactly. I think we were gonna go before, like when we left to be on the road. That was our original plan, was to head over to Ireland, but it was right COVID, and so we've been here and on the stateside, and so that was kind of like put on us, like kind of on a back burner, and we've got some other goals that we have to achieve before we do that. It's mostly around our kids and being with them and helping them and stuff. So yeah, we'll make it there.
You will. Awesome. So tell us a little bit about your story. Like, you have so much under your belt. You have you've accomplished so many great things. Your introduction was like a whole paragraph, and I absolutely love it. So you have your hands in a lot of different things. So I know that it comes from wanting to learn a lot, but tell us a little bit about where that all stemmed from.
So for me, being able to grow started from this feeling when I was really young. I remember things from when I was very young, and the idea that there's some greatness inside of me, which I think is in everyone,
right?
But recognizing it, and over the years, I feel like I have felt it growing inside. Like there's this mission and purpose and a desire to really be in line with that mission and purpose. And so what's interesting is that things kind of come to me, and I'm able to then accept or try those things, right? And so I feel like the things that I felt drawn to, I would just be like, okay, this is something I want to learn now, and this is something that I want to learn now. And throughout my life, I feel like what's super interesting is that when I would learn something, and then I would learn something that was seemingly unrelated, eventually it like matches up, right? It's like, oh, these things connect, right? Now you probably had those kinds of experiences where you didn't realize how something would relate to each other, and then they do, and you're like, whoa, okay, that was really cool. And I feel like my life has been a series of those things where it's like I've been drawn to this thing and then another thing, and then it's like, oh, they matched up. And that's kind of how my path has gone. And I feel like where I've been drawn has been exactly what I've needed for not only my own self-improvement and development, but also in the people that are brought into my life. That I can get on a phone call with a friend who's having a hard day, and because of all of this multiplicity of experience, I feel like I can draw from that and have more of like that inspiration that can help them to just have a different thought, to move into a different space that serves them that day. And so that's really kind of the crux of where I am now, is having these experiences and the certifications and the relationships. I have a lot more to give than I ever have. And so like helping those helpers right now for me is so huge, because I have a lot to give and I have a lot of ways that I want to serve. And when you help people who are helping others, then you have greater impact, right? Because when you work with people who work with people, then your own efforts are magnified, right? And so I really love that idea, because creating the vision for them of how they can serve better as well is just a beautiful thought for me. So that's kind of where I am.
That's amazing. And I truly just love everything that you said, because it resonates with me. Like, I feel like there's a greater purpose inside of me, and that's what has stemmed me to do my own business for the past 2 years, and to really, I've changed my mind so much in the past 2 years, and I feel like I'm connecting with you on a deeper level, because I see that I have this idea and I want to run with it, and I want to learn about it, and I want to do it, and then it relates to something that I've either done in the past, or now that I'm listening to you talk, I know that something is going to come from that in the future as well. So it's just really cool to hear that, and then just hear how much you can just see how much life you have inside of you, and how you just want to give, and you want to serve, and you want to bless people. And that's just such an amazing characteristic to have, and I just absolutely love that. So thank you for sharing that with us.
Of course.
So let's dive into some emotions, because I feel like this is so important for not only women, but especially women, because we tend to be the overly emotional ones in life. So tell us a little bit about emotions and what your definition of emotion really is.
Yeah, I love this question, because how I see it, I feel like it's important to talk about emotions as well as feelings and moods, because we use those interchangeably. And I think that in context, we understand one another when we talk about each of those three things. But when we are really trying to understand ourselves, I feel like being able to break those down is important. And so when we think about emotions, we actually have a physical sensation first.
Right.
We feel it in our bodies when we have an emotion, right? So it's something that we can sense before we even really understand that we're having an emotion, right? And so feelings is how we use our words to describe the emotion and the sensation of the emotion. It's putting a word to it, right? So if we're feeling angry, sad, upset, those kinds of things, but that is really just our way of being able to verbally explain to someone else and even ourselves what is going on inside of us, right? So moods are, we typically will say moods are good or bad. And so what's going on inside of us physically, and that emotional feeling and sensation, and how we tell ourselves and talk to ourselves, and the words that we use that explain our feelings are how we express ourselves in our moods, right? Good mood, bad mood, those kinds of things. And there's other moods, but typically we either feel like good or bad, in that
Right.
kind of a sense. But understand